recap game one of the NLCS, Padres versus Phillies. Jake, you got a burn for us, my dude?
Let's do it. It was wheels up for the Phillies as Zack and the boys took down the Braves and headed out to San Diego. Took the 405 down. PB or OB, Trev, shut up. Versus you, Darvish, for the Fathers, as one of these teams is going to the World Series. Zeros on the board until the fourth. Bryce, baby. Harper, Philadelphia legend Bryce Harper goes Oppo Taco. Looks like he missed it, and it left the yard. It's 1-0 Phils, and in the sixth, it's a Schwarber. My goodness. 488, wrong, 588. 2-0 Phillies, and it would stay that way. Zack Wheeler, your FIP king. Maybe we need to talk about him more. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 8 Ks. They take him out at 83 pitches. Oh, boy. Sir Anthony Dominguez and Alvarado, they get it done on the back end. A little scary in the ninth. Phillies take game 1, 2-0 final.
Ooh, baby. A lot of manly men in this matchup. A lot. Schwarber home run. That is a high T homer. Wheeler, Darvish having a testosterone off on the mound. This one came to play. He's brought to you by Roman. You got to go to Roman and get your T support. Testosterone. I always say testosterone. Is an important part of a man's body and health, so it's important to start supporting it early. Dietary supplements are a way to aid your body's natural functions. If you feel like diet and exercise are not enough, Roman T Support is meant to help men maintain their body's natural testosterone production. Roman T Support is a proprietary supplement formulated by Roman's in-house doctors. You can't find this blend anywhere else. No, you can't. Ashwagandha to support healthy testosterone levels, magnesium to support muscular health, vitamin D, a fat-soluble, Jake's old nickname, vitamin that plays a role in bone health and supports several cellular processes.
Bone health was also a nickname for a little bit.
Oh, healthy bone, I thought it was.
Time.
Go to GetRoman.com/talking today. If you're approved, you'll get $50 off your first order of Roman T Support. That's GetRoman.com/talking, GetRoman.com/talking. What a game. Pitcher's duel. The solo homer wins the game. I mean, Wheeler the story, Harper the story, Wheeler's a story. Wheeler's a story.
It starts with Wheeler. He I was streaming with Kelsey Winger, who was in town. We love ourselves some Kelsey. Paxton, ladies' night, me and the gals, enjoying the game. And man, oh man, you know, Kelsey asked me Wheeler or Nola, the Phillies, 1-2 punch. And I said it. I was like, Nola's one of my favorite pitchers to pitch when he's right. He feels like a little old school, like he's got the 4-pitch mix, and he's got some funk, and he, relies on a awesome mix of accuracy, deception, and it feels like everything there. Zack Wheeler, man. I mean, he's been doing it for 3 years now in Philly, as dominant as it gets. And, sometimes we go and look at FIP, and we're like, what's FIP about? And then we remember the ballpark he pitches in regularly. Citizens Bank is a hitter's park. The defense that's been behind him the last couple years. If Zack Wheeler had been on the Cardinals the past couple years with their defense, like his ERA might have been in the ones. His last couple starts, he pitched to clinch their season. He didn't give up an earned run. The wild card game against St. Louis, 6.1 shutout, and now 7 innings, 1 hit against the Padres. Atlanta, actually the game they lost, but he looked unhittable. I mean, they only got 1. And he is one of the best in baseball. Like it's not a discussion, but he's we jump to some sexier pitchers. Even Nola on his staff, the eye candy gets me a little more, but this guy's the guy.
It was an incredible start. I mean, the one hit by Myers, 8 Ks, took the decision making out of Topper's hands. Like, I'm going to go 7. You're going to go for the 8th and 9th. And I think there was a little bit of discussion when he first came out because he was at 83 pitches, and a lot of people on social media who, like, everyone just chill out on social media a little bit. Everyone was saying, hey, you can't take this guy out. What are you doing? This is that new school baseball we don't like. But turns out he was talking about it. The velo was down.
Velo was down. Yeah.
When you see that, it's time to make a move. So I think it was a smart move. Sir Anthony, my guy, comes in and is absolutely lights out. And then Alvarado, who, what like a turnaround story he's been during the year, gets sent down, figures some things out. I mean, I know this kid. He's got electric stuff. He looks good, has the era there. And I guess while I'm here, let's talk about that play a little bit. Such a difficult play. And I think the situation was runner on first base. Who was hitting at that time? Who hit that ball? Stott, maybe? I'm going to get it right now.
Get it.
Oh, excuse me. It was wrong team. Soto.
Okay.
So you have the shift on. Now your shortstop is kind of playing behind the base at second base, and you hit that ball like a slow roller to the third baseman. I think Stott did exactly what he was supposed to do. You get there and you kind of set your feet so you're able to like read the throw. Bohm sees him running to the base and tries to lead him a little bit too far, and it just gets away from Stott there. A difficult play, but that's a situation where you just got to think about getting one out. Get that lead runner. But I know it's difficult to do that when you're like, this is a game-ending double play. Let me go roll this MFer up because Machado's waiting on deck. So a little bit of sense of urgency there, but that got away. They end up getting Machado out. So, it's all about the pitching here and those 2 bombs. You want to talk about that Schwarber bomb? Because that thing is...
That was nuts. I thought it was very interesting tidbit that they said on the Fox broadcast that during Schwarber's BP, he looked really good. And Topper, I forget which analyst was telling the story, but they said, Topper said, oh, Schwarber feels good. Schwarber had the best BP session so far. I'm excited. He looks like he's going to break out. And they asked him, like, what changed? And they said, he's healthy. And they were like, you never know what someone's battling. But they gave that tidbit early in the game, like after like Schwarber's walk, that he had the really good BP session, and the Phillies coaches said, well, he feels better now, or something along those lines, that something was nagging him or whatever. They're like, you never know. And then he hits that bomb, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe all that's real. Maybe something was getting to him. But I mean, what a homer. And I like Schwarber's quote that he said, I would have taken a wall scraper. Like, I don't give a fuck. I just wanted a homer. And Darvish said he's going to fight him now. And they were like laughing. And I completely forgot Darvish was a Cub. That just like empty in my head. I was like, why are Darvish and Schwarber friends? When did they play together? And I could not figure it out. And then the next sentence in the paragraph was like, old Cubs teammates. And I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot that Darvish was a Cub.
Darvish has one of just his pitching in history. Texas even feels so far away at this point. He was on the Dodgers against Houston.
I remember that.
And the Cubs and the Padres. Hey, we should give Darvish some love, because if the Padres put up 3 early, we'd say, wow, great pitching performance. He got beat by Harper and Schwarber. Those are the guys that get you. The Harper ball, if it's a centimeter higher on the bat, it's probably an out and Profar catches it, because that was a wall scraper. Schwarber, you could have moved that ball a couple different directions, and it still would have been out of that John. What's up, Philly? Yeah, man, I don't know. I love Darvish, man, but that's where Wheeler deserves the credit. The Philly Stars, when you have enough dudes between Castellanos and Real Muto and Harper and Schwarber, if 2 of those dudes click, like we just talked, and if you didn't listen to it, Trev, you had the analytics, you dove deep, and you were saying about Judge and Stanton. Phillies have 4 or 5 guys that can have a Stanton Judge or any elite player in this league type series. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, and by the way, how about in the ninth? We got rally gooses. We got 2 runners on. If you connect with 1 ball, you steal a game. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
You know, the Schwarber thing had all the elements to him coming back. Like I always talk about when you're slumping, if you can start to walk, that's a really good sign. So he gets the walk. Then he hits a cutter for a single. And what's the exit velo on that single? Because it was high as well. It must have been
111.3.
He hit the shit out of that. And then I'm sitting there watching the game last night. Teddy's just got out of the shower. He's like, wants to stay up and watch the game. He's supposed to go to bed. I'm like, you know what? Just watch the game a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
Schwarber connects on that ball, and I audibly screamed. I was like, holy. That was, you don't see balls hit like that very often. And I said right away, and Olivia's like, what happened? I said, dude, he just smoked the ball. I said, that's got to be 120. And I was kind of joking. I was like, nah, it's probably like 115 off the bat. And they come back 119.7, second deck in right field in San Diego. And anyone who has seen games there, they all said the same thing. We've never seen ball go up there.
Well, it's the farthest hit or the hardest hit ball in the park's history?
I think both.
It's the hardest.
I think it's both.
Yeah,
dude.
it's the hardest hit ball that's not Judge or Stanton since they started keeping the stats.
And 488 is bullshit. Dude, don't tell me that ball was going to go 488. Just stop.
The only balls you see hit that hard are foul balls. That was the only moment of pause, I think, with a lot of baseball fans because he hit it so hard and his bat got through so quick. You were like, oh, well, that's
perfect.
Maybe you just turned on it too quickly and you're like, oh, my God, no. That's a part of it. And, dude, how good when you get genuine player reactions. I know the in-interview dugouts interview has been talked about a lot and still be talked about if people like it or hate it because you don't really get real answers and it's kind of like, what are we doing? But, man, seeing the players' reactions, some of the bullpen guys, some of the dugout guys, Harper gets a little meme going on. Because, yeah, man.
No, it's a meme, bro. That's what
that meme, John. When Schwarbo connects on one like that, to see those dudes making those faces and reactions, it's like, yeah.
He can go back in the history of all of his at-bats and even further on into his career, he's going to play quite a bit longer. That's going to be his best swing of his career. Not the most impactful, although it was very impactful, but like the best swing you ever have put on a ball, that was Kyle Schwarber's right there. Without a doubt in my mind. The swing was perfect. The pitch was exactly where he needed it to be, and he unleashed on that thing. Have you seen the side angle of it?
No, I actually haven't. I haven't seen a lot of.
Check that out. There's like a fan video, and you see the ball like the whole way too, which is awesome. It looks like you took your driver out and just smashed a 330 yarder. Like it was. Oh man.
Well, there was a couple hits here. Harper had one. Bell had one. That will be hits next year. And I'm very excited to see what baseball without the shift looks like or what lengths they go to stop those. Because Bell did have that hard line drive that got caught in the shift, but I thought he looked awful in his last at-bat.
It's a tough at-bat, yeah.
I know it's a tough at-bat.
They had a chance there, man.
I know it's a tough at-bat, but I thought he looked awful. Like I was watching that like, oh my God, who else could have been up? Tough to judge one at bat, but his head was here when his bat was in the zone. Like he was.
It didn't look like he was in sync at all.
Yeah. It looked like a robot that you just like hit a swing button and they just go crazy.
And if you're San Diego, you can draw off that comeback in the ninth. Hey, we were there, we were close, we were one swing away. Our pitchers did their job. 2 pitches away, all that stuff. So I don't think San Diego is worrying too much, but the Phillies, man, to be able to go take game 1 in San Diego. I mean, they're showing themselves to be like when we talk about like what wins in the postseason, you'll hear A-Rod and Schmaltz tell you that it's contact is king, but the numbers say you got to hit homers and then, it's about putting up zeros. Like they've found a recipe. Like the bullpen that we thought was going to be a problem might not be a problem if your starter's going 7, because you can pare it down to 3 or 4 guys that you can trust. I feel like they've kind of found that recipe there. Over the long series, we'll see if it can play up like that and continue. But the Phillies kind of have everything you need to be a real deal threat for a World Series championship.
Yeah. On the Padres side, they didn't have much going on. I mean, Nola got into one that they had to run down. I think Harper or Castellanos had to run it down in the gap.
Yeah.
Manny Machado and Kim both hit shots to near the track, dead center, but barrels. But other than that, I mean, Wheeler was breezing. And then they go to the bullpen. So I do think Padres will win game 2. I don't know why, because it's not that I don't trust Nola. It's more just believing that this is going to be a series and a grind than anything else, because I do like Nola game 2 more than I like Snell.
He had 2 rough starts against the Phillies this year, but they were early on when he wasn't pitching as well as he's pitching now. So I don't know if he could really draw on that.
Also broke Harper's hand, so you wonder if he comes up and in on him or if he's a little nervous or whatever. That's his buddy who broke it. He broke his hand.
Yeah, they seem like they would have such a good time hanging out together. So I hope nothing ever breaks up that.
Harper said a quote after he got his hand broke that makes you go like, what the fuck? You professional baseball players live in a different world. He's like, me and Snell been playing against each other in AAU tournaments since we were 10 years old. Snell's from Seattle. Harper's from Vegas. They've been playing against each other since they were 10. Like, you elite baseball player fucks. I know that's how it goes because I've heard you talk about it too. It's just like, Jesus, so you guys were just the best in the world since you were 10 years old? And they were. God. First round picks, magazines. It's like, damn.
Yeah. I was so good when I was young. Holy crap.
Oh my
it's
God.
It's like during the Little League World Series, they showed the 12 and under national team, and it's like, oh my God, the guys we're watching on ESPN are dog shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because they showed highlights of the U.S. national 12-year-old team, and I'm like, what? That's a completely different level than the Little League World Series.
I'm getting exposed to this whole thing now with my son. It is a weird whole thing. James Loney's already trying to get me to play travel ball. I'm like, dude, I can't do that right now. Like, I can't bring myself to do it, but I'm sure I will get there eventually, and I'm really going to get to see it from the other side too.
I would have driven you so deep to the right center gap, Trev.
You wouldn't even be able to play in any of the tournaments I played in. You have to be good to play in those.
Okay.
I wouldn't do travel ball until you're in high school because we burnt my little brother out so bad, and he kind of lost the friendship of it. Because you just went from team to team instead of playing with like a core group of friends.
We're getting off base here, but that's my argument against it right now is I'd rather like be in a league and like experience all that comes with that community and stuff.
Yes, we lost it became a drag. You didn't know anyone. You were on a new team every day. Your coaches didn't know your skill set or positions. My advice would be save it for high school, but that's not part of the recap.
Snell, my guy, Trev's Instagram live, God versus Nola. What'll feel like a season on the line type game if you go back to Philly they've got 3 chances, and if they win 2 games, they can go to the World Series. You can't really put yourself in that position. On the other side, I mean, Musgrove, who's been the bad man, he's waiting with Ranger Suarez in Philadelphia. Snell versus Nola. I'm circling Manny Machado. Like you guys are talking about, I mean, Soto hasn't really fully been Soto in San Diego. Machado is going to be a top 3, top 5 MVP guy this year. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Give me all the Manny Machado stock. Give me a big game from him today. But, man, I know I talked about in the preview how I liked how the Padres – I think on each level, I liked everything they did a little bit more. But if Nola and Wheeler can be a little bit better than the Padres 1 and 2, which we already saw last night with Darvish, and if they can do that again, I mean, they're set up pretty between 3 home games and those 2 dudes having to pitch again.
Baseball.
Couldn't tell if that was A-Rod or you.
Here, it would have sounded like you pitching to me in Little League.
Okay. Just stop. I think that's it.
That's it. That was a.
You wanna fight me or
the
something?
The timing of the baseball was confusing because I thought you were going to keep talking, and then it sounded like it cut you off mid sentence.
I was done.
Then we had a staring contest at each other.
I preed before baseball.
Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Jake and I will be streaming Hearts on the Line tonight. It's been fun. Big sucks.
Trev will be on his Instagram Live. What's up, my
Talkin.
people?
What's up, my peeps?
I'm on the grill right now. Glass of wine, yeah. How hot my wife
Stop
is.
that, dude.
Nothing.
Cooking for my family. I'm sorry.
Really good. Tri-tip.